Hello, this is a video abstract for our recent submission to NJP. So here we are, Dimitris Angelakis, Dieter Jaksch, Stephen Clark, and myself, Tom Grujic. Let's start by describing the kinds of structures we mean by resonator arrays. Here's a possible realization in a photonic crystal geometry, where defects in the crystal form localized resonator sites, and photons can coherently tunnel between sites. We can introduce nonlinearities by locally coupling each resonator site with a two-level system, as described by a Jaynes Cummings interaction. The governing Hamiltonian for the total system here is known as the Jaynes Cummings Hubbard model, and we note there are several other promising technologies to realize this Hamiltonian, notably those based on circuit QED. Resonator arrays have attracted a lot of attention recently as candidate platforms for realizing strongly correlated many-body states of light, and because of the possibility to use them as quantum simulators for interesting effects. A lot of the first proposals assumed idealized large and lossless arrays, but resonator losses in near-future experiments will likely be significant. The first arrays that are built will be small, and they will require external pumping to overcome losses. So with this in mind, the purpose of our work is twofold. On the one hand, we investigate how to describe resonator arrays, both physically and accurately, and on the other, we want to anticipate the physics expected in near-future small-scale arrays. So the first part of our work involved looking at how to accurately model resonator arrays. The Jaynes Cummings Hubbard model, as introduced above, is the full description of arrays coupled to two-level systems. Its natural excitations are joint atom-photon polaritons. But sometimes the purely bosonic Bose Hubbard model, which arises naturally in cold atom optical lattice setups, is used to approximate the dynamics of resonator arrays. So it's important to know whether making this approximation is a valid thing to do, or whether taking the full description leads to novel effects not captured by the Bose Hubbard model. So in this work, we compared experimentally accessible observables for resonator arrays described by both models. Now to do this, we need a meaningful way to map between them. We chose to match the low-lying eigenstructure. Please see the paper for details on this mapping. We then set about comparing spectra and correlation functions for small and medium-sized arrays under either a Bose Hubbard or Jaynes Cummings Hubbard description. At all times, we assumed experimentally realistic parameters for couplings and loss rates, and we found that in general, there are important differences between the two models, mostly on account of the additional atomic degree of freedom that the full description possesses. Now onto the second part of our work. To anticipate near-future experimental arrays, we need ways to simulate large or medium-sized arrays. To solve for the steady states of these systems, we used a combination of the matrix product state representation to describe the array and quantum trajectories. We found that this combination is very efficient, as we can average over many independent trajectory realizations, but we can also average over time steps, and in many cases also over lattice sites. So armed with this numeric approach, we then investigated whether two recently proposed many-body effects could be observed in arrays when they are properly described by the Jaynes Cummings Hubbard model. Both of these effects were predicted to occur in purely photonic systems using the Bose Hubbard approximation. The first is known as photon fermionization, a name given to the fermionic character inherited by photons under strongly nonlinear conditions. And we also looked at photonic crystallization, which refers to a prediction that photons become glued together in a certain sense when lasers drive a flow of particles around a lossy array. In both cases, we found polaritonic equivalence when we properly described the resonator array. However, there are subtle differences in tunabilities from the purely photonic case. And this reflects our general conclusions in this work, that driven dissipative resonator arrays must be described by the full Jaynes Cummings Hubbard model to make accurate physical predictions. So thanks for watching, and please feel free to email any questions.